Welcome, everyone. I'm Mariquita Solis from the vegan community. I'm very honored to be here today because sometimes we have a lot of strange feelings that can get in our way of our progress. And so that's why we have Linda Middlesworth, who's going to tell us it's not our fault anymore. We don't have to beat ourselves up or blame ourselves anymore. We can actually be kind and compassionate and learn how to navigate the tricky situations sometimes that we're placed in that make us make food choices that aren't the best for our health. So Linda is the vegan mentor, um, as she is called. She's a certified food for life instructor, food for life and cooking instructor under Dr. Neil Barnard, who's with the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, a wonderful organization. She is also the owner of V-Dog, plant-based dog food. So thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us today, Linda, and thank you everyone for coming. And let us know where you're watching from, and put your questions in the chat if you have any for Linda, and we'll be keeping an eye on those. So welcome, Linda.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. I really appreciate your coming. I am so excited because I love talking about this. I could talk like for days. If you want to spend like 24 hours with me, I could stop. I never stop talking. That's who I am. I've always been like that because I love sharing this information because I love to help people and I love to help animals. So, and the environment. All three are very important. And so the more I can get the message out, the happier I am as a human being. It's my life purpose. And I've been fortunate enough to do this for quite a few years as a vegan mentor coach. And I have people who get well. They lose the weight if they need it, and they get well. They lose things like I did. So when I started 37 years ago, I was a sick puppy. I had everything. I had heart disease, severe heart disease. I had 55 pounds too much. I had high blood pressure. I had prediabetes, and I was teaching 25 classes a week of aerobics at the time. I mean, high-end aerobics, from kickboxing to step to weight training classes. And I had all this extra weight. But fortunately, I moved next door to my new neighbor in Sacramento, and I'd only known her for 1 week. And we're walking our dogs around the park, and I started telling her that I'm dying because I have cancer and heart disease and all these things. And I told her all of it, even though I didn't even know her very well. So she said, oh, Linda, don't worry about that. Just get a hold of Dr. John McDougall. And I said, who? Anyway, I looked him up. I never even met the man. I read his book at the time. I read all these stories, how people got well. And one lady had cancer for many, many years, and uh, they gave her chemo and radiation over and over again, and it still wouldn't leave her body. So they told her, you got to take a break. We'll come back in the fall because your body needs a rest. Well, during the rest period, she looked up online and found Dr. John McDougall. She completely reversed her cancer, her heart disease, her obesity. Amazing. So I was hooked. I thought, okay, so I'm doing this, and I did it. And the story is history. I lost the weight, I lost the heart disease, I lost the cancer. Now, not everybody loses their cancer, I have to say, but many people do. And you have a 70% less risk of cancer if you eat the plant kingdom and not the animal kingdom. So that's a win-win for everybody. Even if I do have a few friends who had very rare cancers who did die anyway on a plant diet. So I would never say that we can absolutely cure all cancer. That's impossible. But your risk goes way down when you eat like I do. So today that we're talking about, we're talking about food addiction and why people fail so often when they try to even do this plant diet. Um, they think it's too restrictive. They think it's too hard. And anyway, they have these cravings. Why do they have cravings? Well, if they were like me, if they are like I was, they are eating cheese and ice cream. Dairy is one of the things that's the most addictive of all the animal products because it has casein in it, which is meant to bring the baby cow back to the mother because it's so addictive. It has a crack cocaine like effect, it has an opiate like effect. And when you eat dairy, that's what happens. You want it again and again. So I finally found out about that thanks to Dr. John McDougall, and I quit my dairy. It was not easy to quit my dairy. I was so addicted. I was like a real addict. I couldn't walk by the refrigerator without eating a pound of cheese or something. I would find a reason to eat the dairy all day long. And I'm sure that's why I had my cancer. So to be to be healthy and live with energy the rest of your life, because now I am 81 years old and I feel really good. I feel so energetic and strong and happy to get up in the morning when I have this energy. If you are eating wrong foods, it really hurts your whole being. And of course, exercise too. I'm going to talk about that as well because it is as important as the food. So I've been an aerobic instructor for over 50 years, and I still am at 81, the oldest instructor in all the gyms. There's 72 gyms or something. I'm the oldest one still there. Why? Because the way I eat. I can feel well enough to do it. So what I'd like to say is there are certain things, please ask a question if you'd like, but there are certain things that people crave besides the cheese too. They crave processed food because, when we're raised as children, I think most of us were raised non-vegan or non-plant-based, and we're raised eating everything. I mean, we were every kind of animal product. My brother killed the animals in the backyard for us to eat, but I thought we had to, right? I think a lot of us thought we had to eat it. They thought they had to have dairy for calcium and protein from the meat, from the animal meat. Well, if you've started this program at all, you'll find out that we get all the protein and amino acids from our food, from our plant food. We get all the calcium we need from our plant food. We get all the protein, everything we get from our plant food. So, but the marketing industry for the meat, dairy, and egg industry and processed foods is so profoundly well done. I mean, they have us believing that if you eat plants, you'll be weak. If you don't get your dairy, your bones will crack. You will die early if you don't. And then men, especially for men, I think it's really hard because they're told to be strong. They need to eat all these animals and maybe kill them first, because that's really a show of power and strength, right? So that's why we need to try to help people get over these myths that have been so well marketed in our culture and cultures around the world as well. Now, one of our best cultures, which we unfortunately spread around the world, is we processed food. When I first went plant-based 37 years ago, the first 3 years I didn't eat oil because any oils, any added oil, because Dr. McDougall said not to do that. It was bad for your heart, bad for your waistline, blah, blah, blah. So I didn't, but I did still eat processed food. I was eating vegan hot dogs, vegan ice cream with lots of cashews, and so I couldn't lose the second 25 pounds. I couldn't lose that part. So it wasn't until later that I read things like Food Revolution book about how I should be eating no processed foods. I should be eating whole food. Later on, I met Chef AJ, and of course, she's a whole food plant eater. And so I had a lot of people influence me to eat this whole plant food way. The closer the food looks like the way it's grown is the healthiest way to eat the food. And yes, I do eat cakes and cookies too, but those are fewer and far between. And they're made with whole foods, not processed flours. I don't eat bread very often, for instance, and if I do eat bread, it's whole grain, unprocessed bread as you can get. So, but what I'd like to say is there are certain, I have clients, they're all different. Everybody has a different way of approaching this diet, and everybody's different in the response to our new plant diet. Because, like, I have one client who can't be here today. She struggles with falling off the wagon, and she eats the most beautiful whole food for 2 months or 3 months, and then boom, all of a sudden she eats these Reese's candy bars, or something. And it's really hard for her. And it's not, she doesn't eat it because she's hungry or even because she's craving it at the moment. She has some stress in her life, emotional issues, or is tired, or it's a habit. Those are the things that become a habit when you eat it too often. When you fall off the wagon too often, it becomes a habit, and then it's really hard to give it up. So that's why I ask people to give me 30 days when I coach, 30 days of clean eating, because that can help you stop the habitual part of it. It won't stop you from being tired or stressed. So, what I say to people when they are tired and stressed and emotional eaters, I say, I want you to give yourself a purpose. I want you to step back, ask yourself, what's your purpose? Why do you want to eat this way? Is there a reason? Because a lot of people don't step back, they just go into their craving and do it. So I'm asking her now, she's trying to do this now, which is very nice. She's trying to step back before she goes into the store. I tell her what I use with a lot of my clients, which is to be all filled up and very full before you go to the store. You're not at all hungry, right? Really. And one of my key things I'll tell you to do, which I do myself regularly, I eat so many potatoes before I go out or in the car. In the car, if I'm going to go to lunch with some friends, I have a pile of potatoes in my little Pyrex right here by my car's seat. And I eat like, I don't know, 6 potatoes. And they're good as long as they're lukewarm. I don't like them cold, but just lukewarm. And I'll just pile those potatoes in. By the time I get to the restaurant, I don't care what everybody else is eating. I'm full. And I actually ask for a salad and I bring my little California balsamic sample bottle. If you haven't heard of that, write to me later. I'll tell you all about California balsamic. You order them online, not Amazon, and they are so delicious. All about hundreds of different flavors, from pomegranate to teriyaki to ruby red onion or garlic. I mean, it's so good. So you can add that to your salad, and you've already eaten all those potatoes. You're not full, so you're not tempted to eat what they are. And if somebody gives you a bad time, and this happens, believe me, Linda, why aren't you having the pizza with us? It's so good. I can't believe you're not eating it. And if you know these people well, you can tell them the truth. If you don't know them well and you don't want to go into a whole history of what you're doing, just tell people, oh, my doctor said that my cholesterol's too high and I have to be careful. So that's why I'm not eating it. What are they going to say to you? Okay, go ahead and eat it so you can get your cholesterol high. Yeah, we want that for you. They're not going to do that. And they leave you alone. But if they're people you know pretty well or even fairly well, then you can tell them I'm on a plant-based diet because I love animals and leave it at that.
Yes, you have
Or
great I mean, you look so good for your health, Linda. And I mean, I don't think anybody would say eat the pizza if they think you're going to, um, if you're going to be sick from it. That's a very good tip to use, right? And
I
definitely,
love that. I use
sometimes,
that one regularly if people give me a bad time. And then sometimes they'll say, "Oh, we still need your protein from the meat." And then I'll answer, "No, I happen to study nutrition, and I happen to know that I can get all the protein I need from plants. But thank you. I appreciate you're trying to help me."
Well, you're the
Or,
fountain of youth
you know,
here.
and the same
Yeah.
thing with the dairy and the calcium, and a lot of people don't realize that the dairy industry, when you eat any dairy food, it's our number one most powerful source for cancer. Over all the animal products cause cancer, every one of them, and heart disease and diabetes and obesity. But the number one source for cancer, most powerful cancer source, is dairy. And it's, of course, why I had cancer, because I was hooked on dairy big time. And so, yeah, it's people don't realize that. They think it's beef or something that's the number one cause of cancer, but it's really dairy. So, and I also, because I had everything, if they really keep pushing me, I'll say, "Look, I used to have heart disease, cancer, diabetes, and obesity, but now it's all gone because I moved into this plant diet." I can use that as an example, but you might not be where I am today. You might be struggling with your weight right now and you don't know how to get rid of it. I can help you with that. So, well, some of the best ways to get rid of it, which I used with my two clients, Margie and Helen, her sister, came to my aerobics class 10 years ago. And they told me before class, "We came here, Linda." It was a weight and aerobic cardio class. And they said, "We want to lose weight." And I said, "Oh, you're not going to lose 1 pound in my class." And they went, "What?" And later on, Margie told me she was so upset with me while she was in my class because she wasn't going to be losing weight, but she was in there doing it, but she wasn't going to lose any weight. And they both came up to me after class and, "Well, what do you mean? I'm here because I want to lose weight." And I said, "No, I was at my very heaviest when I was teaching 25 classes a week, because it's not the exercise that takes off the weight, it's the food. I was strong and fit, but I was fat. Fat, strong, and fit. Now I'm no longer fat. I'm just
Wow.
fit, which is
You're
what
very
I want
fit.
to keep it, right?
Right.
So,
And I have some questions for you, Linda, and I have a question for you
sure.
when you're finished with your thought. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So we had these come in through the vegan community, some people that couldn't join us. You've been a vegan advocate for 36 years, plus years, they say.
37.
37 years. What are the top things that have been able to keep you going at it for so long?
One of the top things keeping me able to do it for so long? What things helped me do it for so long?
Yeah, because
Oh,
there's a lot of burnout, I mean, how have you been able to keep being a big advocate for veganism for so long? I mean,
well, I think mainly after I got myself well, I learned about this 37 years ago, and 1 week after I learned about what it did for my health, my neighbor, that same neighbor, told me, do you know what happens to dairy cows, Linda?" And I said, "Yeah, I really miss that cheese. I really miss my cheese and my ice cream. I really do." And then she told me a few sentences of what happened to the dairy cows, the mama, who becomes your hamburger, by the way, um, and the baby. And I said, "No, they don't do that. Do they?" They tell me they don't do that. And she said, "That's what they do. They separate them at birth." And I said, "No, okay, okay." I became an animal rights activist on the spot. That was 1 week after I became a plant eater. I became a vegan at that point. A vegan is someone who doesn't want to do any harm to any sentient being. I was a plant eater for 1 week, and then I became a plant eater and a vegan the second week. And that's
right,
what kept me going all these years. Now, not everybody needs to be a vegan. You don't have to think about the animals at all if you don't like to. I understand that. It's very hard to look at it, to see it, to know it. And when I was first starting out, I used to show the movie Earthlings as often as I could at the library so people could see what's actually going on with the animals, because I wanted everybody to know about it. Now, I'd only get 4 people to show up, but that was 4 more people.
right.
And
And so when
so, that was how I kept going, is mainly number one for the animals. But I also wanted myself to be, I want to be here to feel great when I'm old, and I am. I'm feeling
Right.
great when I'm old because of my choices I made. And that just kept me going. I got rid of some of the addictions I had the first 3 years by following the program of like Food Revolution, um, and knowing that the whole food is what keeps me healthy, not the processed food. We
Right,
are
exactly.
addicted here to processed food. So processed food is the one that derails us, even if it's plant-based.
Right.
I have almost 6,000 people in my meetup group. I'd say 60% or more are obese and they're vegan. I mean, they're plant-based. Why? What's the number one reason? Anybody know why my vegan community is so overweight? What's the number one food that they eat that keeps them overweight? And they don't eat animals, most of them. Anybody know?
Nuts?
Huh? That's a good guess. And
Oil?
that's a secondary answer. But there's a number one
Oil.
answer. Jim,
Oil.
no.
Oils?
Oh, who said that?
I said oil.
Oh, Paula, right on the money, baby.
That's what I thought.
So, yeah, oil is the number one reason my plant-based eaters are overweight. That and processed food and too many nuts like nut butters and almond butters and things like that. We're supposed to eat a little small handful of nuts. And I want to talk about walnuts right now because walnuts are one of those super nuts. So if you're going to eat a nut, make sure it's walnuts. I'm going to tell you right here, I have a list of what walnuts does for us, if I can find it. Oh, okay, walnuts. I've got to read what walnuts do for you. First of all, they help you lose weight. Did you know that? But you can't eat too many, just a small little handful. If you eat too many, it's too high calorie dense. But walnuts actually provide omega-3s. They lower your bad LDL. Hello. And they help your brain with antioxidants and polyphenols. And they fight inflammation. This is walnuts, mind you. They regulate your blood sugar. So if you have diabetes, please have a little handful of walnuts. They provide protein, magnesium, potassium, zinc, and they fight certain cancers. That is a walnut, right? So
Right.
please add a handful of walnuts every day, even if you are overweight. Okay? I really want you to do that. And the other thing I'd like you to have every day, which I started just recently because I found out about this too. Did you know that avocados are bloody amazing? I mean, I'm going to tell you about avocados. I'd like to have you add a half avocado every day at least. Um, they help your bones. They strengthen your bones and your eyes and your skin. They maintain your immune function. They reduce blood pressure. Hello. Vitamin C, E, K, and B6. They have a lot of fiber, gives you energy, lowers your LDL, I said that, and helps you absorb vitamin D. Where do you get your vitamin D? Where do you get your vitamin D the best way?
Fun.
The sun. Every time the sun peeps out at all here, I'm in it for at least 5, 10 minutes. And I do that several times in the day if I can, because that gives you your best source of vitamin D. um, Better than taking just popping pills, because popping pills, if you read the book by Dr. Amy Lanoux called Building Bone Vitality, is excellent because people who just fill their bones up when they get older with the holes in it, they fill their bones up with vitamin D, but it's like chalk. You want your bones sinewy. So you want to exercise to keep it that way. Exercise on your bones. Resistance training at least 2 times a week. Okay.
Right. We've got Angela Fischetti here too, who does that also. I'm glad
Yeah.
you're hearing. And
Yeah. No.
I want to
Yeah. No.
ask,
Yes.
I want to ask about people here that are having possibly struggles about advocacy. Is there anyone here that doesn't really know um, if maybe feels like the advocacy isn't working or they get burnt out,
The
or they have
advocacy for
Mhm.
animals, you mean?
Yes, advocacy for animals. Like you've done a
Oh,
lot of advocacy, Linda,
mhm.
in different forms,
Well,
right? The
here's I will tell you what we have done. I've been working with PETA for 37 years. And if you write to them, they will give you a list of all the things they have reversed for the animals. It is bloody amazing because one time somebody said, "Oh, what all these protests you do, they don't do any good." Yes, they are. They are. We are exposing people to this and we're planting seeds. And we've actually have legislation now from PETA as well, and also social justice and compassion, also with Judy Mancuso. And oops, where'd you go?
We're here. But
Oh,
everybody, please put in
oh,
the chat what kind of
there you are.
advocacy you all are doing right now. I'd love to see what kind of advocacy y'all are doing. Because Linda's doing vigils, protests, and you know about
Um,
legislative action. What else, Linda?
we show films and we do a lot of things, but not everybody has to do it like I do. But if you're not the type to go out and talk to people, I'm not saying to yell at them. I'm just saying to talk to people. If you're not that type, I have another way for you to help. If you want to do something at home, you can use Eric Mills' Action for Animals. He sends me every day. I spend at least 20 minutes every day working on this. He sends me, he's particularly interested in banning rodeos.
I'm
So,
interviewing him tomorrow. I'm interviewing him tomorrow on all
oh, oh, I
taxes.org.
love Eric so much. And anyway, every day he sends me another email. Linda, write this one. This one needs comments. Write the newspaper, write the mayor, write the commissioner about the big rodeo coming to town and why it shouldn't be here. So I do. I write a short, I have actually one I copy and paste a lot, but then I add to it so I don't have to rewrite it every day. But I do that for Eric, and I just adore this man. He actually did a video on called Bucking Tradition, which is a film. So if you can watch that sometime, that's good. But anyway, if you care about the animals, but not everybody cares about the animals. I have people in my aerobics class, I'm not supposed to tell anything about food to them, but sometimes I sneak it in. And I had one lady in my aerobics class who was a little overweight, and she said, "Linda, I can't get this weight off." And I told her after class, "Come talk to me secretly. I don't want to get fired." And so we talked about what she could do. She did it. She and her husband lost like 45 pounds, and they're so pleased with me. But the thing is, one day I decided to ask her in class, before teaching, I said, "Hey, do you care about the animal part or no? It's okay if you don't, but if you do, is it a concern of yours?" She said, "No, not really." I said, "Okay, fine." But you know what? She's not eating them anymore, so I'm happy. But not everybody wants to speak out. Not everybody is the type of personality like me. I never stop talking to people. Every day I try to get one more person vegan, and whether they're on the phone or in the grocery store, I bring it up. I wear a vegan hat or a vegan message on my shirt, and they ask, "Oh, I could never be vegan." That starts the whole conversation. And I say, I said that too 37 years ago. But it feels so good when you don't hurt animals anymore because I know you love animals, right? Oh, I love animals. I said, "Oh, good. That's a good start." And then I get up talking, and sometimes I have people who change. In fact, I have to tell one funny story about that very quickly. So I was at a stop sign. I have my two cute little pit bulls in the window there, and people roll down their window at the stop sign at the long, long wait line. And they say, "Oh, your dogs are so cute." And right under on the door, it says vegan, right? So they have to read that and see my dogs. And then they say, "Oh, I could never be vegan." I said, "Talk to me later." And I throw him a card through the window. But anyway, or this one guy in a truck was looking down at me. He said, "Your dogs are so cute." And I said, "I know, the rescue." And he said, "I have a rescue too." And I said, oh, the light was going to change. So I said, hey, don't forget to go vegan. That's how I end every conversation. And so what happened is he says, Linda, you don't remember me, do you? You came to get your oil changed at University Auto, and you told me to watch the movies, and I'm vegan. I said, oh, hi, Nick. I didn't recognize him. Anyway, it was such a great day to have that happen. I mean, so you never know when you're planting seeds, guys. And you don't have to be like me. You don't have to be in everybody's face talking about it. But I let them come to me by wearing the vegan shirt or hat. Or I don't go up to people and say, you gotta be vegan. But every conversation when I went to the Apple store, I left the Apple store and the security guard said, have a nice day. And I said, yeah, you too. And don't forget to go vegan. And he said, I am. And I said, we started talking, and now he's a member of my group. You never know who you're going to help or plant a seed. So,
Beautiful.
but again, you don't have to be like me. I'm talkative. And so let's get back to our other thing though. I wanted to
Well,
finish.
Linda, I
Yeah.
have a one. Did you finish saying, because I probably interrupted you. We have some questions here. So you were saying we all walnuts, avocados. What else should we eat every day?
Okay. That's what I wanted to talk about. You know, walnuts also fight inflammation. I don't know if I said that. Oh, celery.
Oh
Did
yeah.
you know that celery fights cancer? I did not
No.
know that. I make a great hummus, a real healthy hummus that's not fattening to use with it. But celery is good for your heart disease, digestive function, suppressing inflammation, helps your memory. Hello, memory. Manage blood sugar and your weight. So yeah, celery has tons of fiber too. It's 95% water. So I'd like everybody to have celery every day. A couple of stalks, you can do that. And cucumber. Cucumbers is also high water, 95% water, and helps hydration, promotes gut health, protects your against cancer, improves heart health. I said that. Weight loss, lowers blood sugar, and good for kidneys. That's your cucumber. So I'd like to see cucumbers and celery every day in everybody's diet. And I make a great hummus recipe that's low fat because it's there's no tahini. Tahini, I love tahini, but it is a high fat seed. So I take the tahini out of mine and just use the garbanzo beans. And I put in, listen to this, I put in a chunk of raw broccoli. I chop it up a little, put it in the food processor with the garbanzo beans. Then I add some white miso, like a big tablespoon of white miso. And then I add, this makes it so good, the California balsamic vinegar. If you don't know about that, write to me later. I'll give you a link. But California balsamic vinegar is kind of sweet. So you get the sweet and the salt from the miso and the garbanzo beans, and you got your raw broccoli in there. Because broccoli is good two ways. It's good raw and it's good cooked. It has different properties if you cook it than if you keep it raw. It has different properties. So they're both good. I like to have both of those in your diet every day too. Broccoli is a superfood. When it's cooked, it provides sulforaphane. Sulforaphane fights cancer and toxins in your body. And so you really want to have broccoli every day too. And kale. Kale is another superfood. So I think that's all I had to say about that.
Okay. Well, I have another question.
Okay.
Um, from Michael. I'm so blessed and have every reason in the world to want to be healthy in my 70s, 80s, and beyond. And yet my addiction to unhealthy foods is stronger and I continue to struggle. I suspect this is a psychological disorder. Do you have any thoughts on what may help me?
Yes, and that's not uncommon. Most of us don't always eat for because we're hungry. We're eating because of psychological and emotional and tiredness and stress and all kinds of other reasons. So, what people have to do in this case, which I talked about a little bit earlier today, is you have to take note of what your purpose is in this life. What do you want for your life? Do you want to be fat? Do you want to be sick? Do you want to not have the energy to thrive every day, even when you're old? You have to ask yourself the question and have full intention about what you want. Because if you don't do that, you just keep the same pattern going all the time. And then my other trick that I used with Margie and her sister, when they were both over 130 pounds overweight, and they came to my aerobics class to lose weight, and they said, I said, no, you have to change your food. After class, I said, you have to change your food. Guess what? They changed their food to a whole food plant diet. But I'm going to tell you how they got over their addiction, because they both lost like 130 pounds. And Margie was even featured in Women's World. So what they realized was they were eating all the wrong food. So that was, and one of them was diabetic. One sister was diabetic, and she had diabetes for 27 years. And I got rid of her diabetes within a couple of weeks. She got off her metformin that she had for 27 years. Diabetes is the easiest thing to reverse, I know. It is so easy. And and 10 years later, she's still no diabetes. So to get rid of the addiction that you have to figure out what you want. Do you want to feel good? Do you want to thrive? And then you have to make a plan. You have to plan your food. And like I did for Margie and her sister, I told them my plan, which is really taken from Dr. John McDougall's work. I said potatoes are key. I use potatoes whenever I'm stressed out, whenever I'm hungry, whenever I'm not hungry, whenever I'm just stressed out or tired or something. And or when I'm going to be going out with other people, I eat potatoes in the car. And what it does is it fills you up so you don't feel the need to eat anything. And then I have my purpose in my mind, right? I have to set my purpose in my mind when I was first starting. I don't need to do it anymore, because right now, whoever you are in a habit of this, and you got to change the habit. In order to change the habit, you actually have to make a plan, and you have to actually organize your food ahead of time. You have to keep all the horrible food out of your house, because if it's in your house, you will eat it. And if you have another person in your family who's eating the opposite of you, then you need to ask if you could put things on separate shelves, and you got one shelf for that person and another shelf for you. And just keep it that way in your mind too, that you only eat from your shelves. And you have to batch cook. Like I batch cook all these vegetables every 3 or 4 days, and I share it with my dogs and Jim. So I batch cook, like I don't have to cook every day when I batch cook. And that makes a huge difference. You don't have to be in the kitchen chopping away. But if you do the batch cooking like I do, if you talk to me later, I'll tell you how I do that, because it's kind of a long story, but it's not hard once you get used to it. And now that whole hour that I chop, it's kind of a pain in the neck, and my back hurts a little bit, but I just do it. I just get in there. I'm a pretty fast chopper, and I got my big, beautiful chopping board and my big knife, and I chop, chop, chop. It's all done. Now for the next 3 or 4 days, I don't have to do anything but heat it up, right? It's really nice. And then there's some tools in the kitchen which really help you. Microwave. Don't be afraid of a microwave. As Dr. Michael Greger said, the worst thing you can do for a microwave to hurt you is if you drop it on your toe. It's actually quite a superior way to cook your food. And it's nice because you don't have to watch it the whole time, right? I chop up my potatoes on a plate this high, potatoes chopped up. Put another plate on top, throw it in the microwave for 39 minutes. Comes out perfect. Perfect. And I have enough potatoes for 2, 3 days right there, you know? So, and so you need the batch cooking, you need to plan ahead, you need to empty your house if you can of every offending food. You need to tell people in your family and friends that you would like some help, because a lot of people don't know how to address that. They're at their grandpa turned 100, I'm going to have the chocolate cake. You don't need to. Just say, look, I had already asked my family if they would help me with this. And they want to help you. Family members want to help you if you ask. And so do friends, if they're friends. If
Right.
they're telling, oh,
Oh,
nah, just this once, it's okay. They're not friends then. They're not really
very
good. They're
Linda,
superficial. Yes,
yes, and I thought maybe there's some folks here that might want to share about their own experiences and their
I'd
stories.
love to hear that.
Yeah, we'd love
I,
to hear that. So if you wouldn't raise your hand, um, we'd love to invite you to do that. And if you don't want to come on camera or anything, we'd love to hear you. If you want to put it in the chat, because it's very encouraging and inspiring to hear. And it's we also are here to help you all if in your advocacy efforts and in your staying on track. I mean, being mindful about what's going into your mouth. So, like Linda's saying with the potatoes, knowing that, uh-oh, I might start the falling, I might go grab me a sweet potato, which me and my little dog Louie love to eat our sweet potatoes. So that's a wonderful idea. But yeah, if y'all would love to share, we want to hear that. And I think, are there any more questions? Let me look at that.
one
Oh,
thing I'd like to say about the
mhm,
potato first is
mhm.
that why it works so well for maintaining your weight or losing weight even is because it's only 1% fat. It's one of the superfoods. A potato is complete amino acids, has more potassium than a banana and more vitamin C than an orange. So is a potato is a wonderful whole food which has 1% fat. Beans and rice don't do that for you, but potatoes do. And that's why it's a superfood for keeping your weight managed and even
Oh,
losing weight. In fact, I have a friend who told me yesterday she eats a lot of potatoes because she needs to gain weight. And I said, no, honey, what you're doing is losing weight. If you're eating
well,
potatoes with no oil, then yeah, you're taking your weight off. So you gotta eat, you need to eat some bread, baby.
well, how about this, Linda? The seeds have oil like pumpkin and sunflower seeds.
Do they have oil?
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's a question.
they have some oil in them, but they come with the fiber. And the fiber is what key. So, like olive oil, even or any oil, coconut oil, there's no fiber. Even olive oil is 14% saturated fat, and it helps maintain diabetes if you have it. So, no oil if you can, please. But yeah, seeds have fat and oil in them, but they're combined with the fiber. So, and we want to keep them to a minimum if you're trying to lose weight.
What about cashews?
Cashews have, yeah, they're very high calorie dense, but you could have a small handful, but you just don't want to eat a lot. Like if you're eating cashew cheese, like I did the first 3 years,
Uh-huh.
wow, I couldn't take off my weight. No, cashew cheese is yummy, yes, but
Right.
not for weight loss and not for, yeah. So
All right. Well, all right. So,
I think Patty had to go back to work, but she would have told you that she lost like 130 pounds or something. She was on here earlier, and she was amazing because she lost her diabetes and she lost all that weight. And I'm still helping her today because she's still working on the last 30 pounds she's got to work on. But um, and that's the other thing where losing the weight or even being accountable and keeping away from addiction helps if you have a coach. Well, guess what? That's what I do. So when you have a coach, you have accountability because you have to write a little food log to me at night telling me what you ate. And guess what? You don't like to write to Linda and tell her you ate a Big Mac going through. No, you don't like to tell Linda that. And you don't like to tell Linda that you had a bunch of cashew cheese either, if you're trying to lose weight. So it's
what
a
can they
low.
do?
Hmm?
How can you make cheese without cashews?
Well, there's you can use nutritional yeast, and I have a few recipes that if you people write to me, I'll send you my nutritional cheese recipe. Yeah.
And where can they find you and where can they write to you? Because we want
Oh,
to want to
vegan.
tell
Well, my website is the easiest, Vegan Mentor. It's right here,
Mhm.
Vegan Mentor. And then if you want to email, it's veganmentor@gmail.com. Very
Okay.
simple. Vegan Mentor. Or, and I'd love you to subscribe to my Vegan Mentor Coach YouTube channel too, if you would.
Mm.
That'd be great.
Yeah, you need to write out
I
recipes.
also, I'm going to start this. I'm going to send out my free ebook for people who subscribe to my Vegan Mentor Coach channel. So if you subscribe to my Vegan Mentor Coach, there's Vegan Mentor and there's Vegan Mentor Coach. Do the Vegan Mentor Coach one channel, and then I will send you my ebook. It's called
Wonderful.
Mindful Eating. So
That's you hit, I mean, that's it, mindful eating, because like when we get in these patterns of eating without thinking, I mean, that's the habit loop, and we're just trapped in that habit loop, right? But then when we stop,
very
somehow,
easy to get in that habit, and then you feel badly about yourself, and then it just spirals from there. You just keep it going. And you're also addicted to the high fat, salt, and sugar. When you get addicted to that, it's very hard to leave it. Now, Don McDougall had a funny conversation about addiction. He said, addiction? Nah, that food's not addictive. I've seen addiction. I think he was addicted when he was a young man. Um, I've seen addiction. They go through heroin withdrawal. It's horrible. Food's not addictive like that. I said, but you know what? It really is. I hate to differ with my hero who saved my life, but I say food is highly addictive. It doesn't ravish you so much like heroin or cocaine, but it is addictive, and people don't like to leave it behind. I couldn't leave my cheese behind for years. I just couldn't. But then somebody said what it did to animals and then what it did to your body, and then that was it. Dr. McDougall told me what cheese did to your body, and that was it. I didn't put it in there again. But then I not everybody does it so easily like I did. I mean, I kept the processed food for the first 2, 3 years. But after that, once I gave up all the processed food and got it out of the habit of eating it, it's real easy for me now because I have my potatoes.
right? And I
My
think what you said
potatoes.
was important, because it was easy for you because of this. And so that's why um, Angela Crawford always talks about you got to find your why. What is the why for you?
Yeah, everybody's a little different, but the reason I choose potato everybody to know about is because it happens to be the only food so filling that's 1% fat. I can eat so many of 'em.
No, that's a wonderful tip, definitely.
Yeah.
Because
And
I mean, the carb, people tell me I'm staying away from carbs. What would you say to that?
I'd say then you won't have any energy left. You know how people go to a marathon the night before, what do they eat? Pasta. They want
Mm.
energy to run. Carbohydrates are your energy. That's why I'm 81 and very strong and teaching aerobics because I eat my carbohydrates. So carbohydrates are key. 80% of my food is carbohydrates, whether it's beans and rice. And by the way, if you're at all anemic, just add more cooked tomatoes to your beans,
That's a
right?
good idea. Yeah, and it
Mm-hmm.
it sounds like, I mean, you you've shared a lot of great tips for health, for food, and all the ways that you can be an advocate. I mean, in the grocery store, or simply wearing your vegan outfit, right? Or saying, just having quick conversations with people. I mean, these are easy ways to be an advocate. And um, and even if you don't want to talk to people, like you were saying, there are other ways to do it, right? I mean, just by wearing the vegan outfit is enough if you're shy, right? And then
Yeah.
working with Linda, will bring out the Linda lion in you. So you will not be afraid to talk to anyone. Linda's got amazing energy from all those carbs that she says to eat. And that's a very good point. We need those carbs. So you
Jim,
are a
like Jim, for instance, is very shy. You know, he would never wear a shirt that said vegan or talk to somebody about it. But you know, he's being a good example just by walking around and you know, and if somebody says something, he won't even say anything. But you know, at least he's not eating any animals, so I'm
well,
happy
that's
there.
very true. Yeah, and you
But
know
not
what?
everybody's shy like Jim, you know. And if you are shy, you could write letters for Eric Mills, Action for Animals, if you care about the animals at all. You know, you don't have to be out protesting or anything. So, and
Right.
you know, sometimes I get discouraged because it seems like it's moving so slowly in the right direction. But then when Peter wrote to me and told me all the things they have done worldwide, they have stopped so many actions against cruelty to animals. I feel just I'm going to find that letter and I'm going to send it around because it is makes you feel so good about the animal part. You know, it really does. And then I'm working with Free from Harm and in Defense of Animals right now with my bird flu information and other things. And it is amazing these and social justice for legislation with Judy Mancuso. They're passing bills to help the animals all the time. So it's very, and they're very active in getting all the information you need to help. So yeah, it feels encouraging to me
Yeah.
that
Well, it's wonderful to see everyone here also that cares about animals and their health and the world. And we actually so we are the vegan community. I mean, all of us are, and I hope you're signed up because we're having groups called Passion Pods. Linda's in charge of a Passion Pod, and we're really coming together to be better advocates for this world, for veganism, for the animals, for the planet. We are working on possibly an 8 to 10 month program with Dr. Will Tuttle and Dr. Gabriel Cousins coming up. So we have a lot of things in the works. So please definitely get on the get a membership to the vegan community. It's because
yeah,
we want to help
it's
people.
called thevegancommunity.com.
Right,
So right,
vegancommunity.com.
don't forget the word the, because I did that when I just put vegan community and it didn't pop up. So put in your browser, put thevegancommunity.com and please become a member because you too can be an advocate and be helping other people become advocates. You can be a part of that great community. So we're trying to grow our advocacy. I'm sorry, Marguerite, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm good. I'm good.
Oh,
I was just
and
listening.
Marguerite, how did you become a plant eater or a vegan?
Well, I became a planny. I became when I saw a 1995 Meet Your Meat, Alec Baldwin 3 minute clip. Then I became vegetarian and then back and forth because I struggled with the addictions too. So that's why I'm always very gentle with people, you know, vegetarian, vegan, vegetarian, vegan. I mean, I don't like it when people say, well, they never were vegan. I was vegan, but I fell off because of these struggles. It was hard for me, and vegan food wasn't that easy to access back in those times. And I'm a human being who fails. So that's why it was hard. Okay. I mean, it's not hard for everyone, and I acknowledge that. So I'm also very compassionate to myself, and I do the best that I can. So, and I think that's what's beautiful about Linda and this whole, it's not your fault. It's not our fault. We don't have to beat ourselves up after we ate, a bag of cookies. What we can do is have compassion towards ourselves, look at ourselves and say, hey, what did you really need? I'm here for you. I'm here for myself. I love myself. Was it really the cookies or was it self-love that I needed? And let me give myself some self-love. Let me call someone that will that we can share love together, right? And maybe next time I don't have to have the cookies. Next time I'll make the phone call to the friend. right? So it's just about mindfulness, and Linda's a wonderful advocate. So please get on her team. You know, she's a great coach. We all need each other. We can't do it alone.
Yeah, I love to help people get well and find their purpose too. Some people don't know exactly what their purpose is. And so I understand that. You know, sometimes that happens, but if you need help with that, I can help with that too because I
That's the
love.
journey of life. Yeah, I mean, we don't ever know, you know, we're on a journey, and then one day it'll be the aha moment. Oh my gosh, I know why I'm here. You know, it will be revealed in the journey.
Yeah. Um so I think Angela said she had trouble finding my YouTube channel is Vegan Mentor, one word like this. And
Hmm.
second word coach. Second word coach is my YouTube channel. And Angela, I think you already signed up for that. Pretty sure you did. So and then my email is veganmentor@gmail.com. And my
Oh,
website is just Vegan Mentor, www.veganmentor. So 3 ways you can get to me. Um, you
all
already
right.
signed up for my Vegan Mentor coach, Angela. You did before. Thank you, Michael.
Y'all, if y'all came late, this is recorded, so you will be getting a copy of this. And definitely reach out to Linda. I see we're coming to the end of the hour, so please be a part of the vegan community, thevegancommunity.com. We want to see you. We want to help you be exceptional advocates, right? Always, you know, improving every day. And we're here to help. And so is Linda. She is dedicated to the planet, to our beautiful animals, to our environment. So, and I really want to thank all of you all for coming. Did you have any final thoughts, Linda?
I just want to thank everybody for coming and listening to me because I could talk about this for days, maybe weeks, maybe more. So thank you for being here. And please reach out to me if you need coaching. Great. I'd love to help you. If not, just reach out to me for any reason at all. Any questions you have about your struggles with addiction, I've been there, so I know what that means, and I can help you. But thank you so much for being a part of this. And please join the vegancommunity.com because we are all advocates now that we're eating or trying to eat this way. We are all advocates and we want to grow our advocacy so it's worldwide. Okay.
Amen.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Medakita, for hosting me. And she does amazing work. You got to see her on Facebook. She puts on so many events. It makes me tired. I think, when do you sleep? When do you eat?
Some,
So,
please.
anyway, thank you for your amazing vegan empowerment too.
Well, thank you, Linda. This has been a
You're
joy to
welcome.
see all these wonderful faces and see, and you know, and to know that we're all together. What a blessing that is, you
Yeah,
know?
this is a support group here, guys. This is a support group. It's not just what we've all accomplished. We're supporting each other, okay? Because
Exactly.
everybody needs support, right?
Right.
I mean, we're not doing this alone. We're doing this together. And let's keep
Right.
it that way because life is challenging right now. So we need to stick together. So
Right. Well,
thank you so
thank you all
much.
very much. Thank you, Linda. Thanks
See you
for
Thank you
next
for
listening.
your
time.
time.
Yes.
Bye.
Looking for the next one.
Bye.
Hi, Ellen.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Ellen,
Bye, Layla.
Layla, nice for coming. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. It's been wonderful. See you soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye.